Okay, we are going to talk about now. I'm starting to want to change the language. Words like gratitude and appreciation, once you learn like the trickery of the English language and what you're actually saying and the vibration that it holds versus what you think and what you're intending for it to be. But in the name of keeping things simplistic, you will hear me say the words gratitude and appreciation, because what we're talking about on this video is just that. It's about gratitude and appreciation, but not really from the perspective that you all may think. Okay, this is an important topic to me, and it's an important topic for those that are targeted individuals. It's an important topic for those who, you come up in a time where, there's a lot of misconstrued, twisted, diluted, abusive understanding about what those things are and what it looks like. Okay, I want to talk about it from my perspective and what I'm coming to learn and know and see what actual appreciation or gratitude is. Okay. Now, you all have also heard me talk about communal narcissism. And so I encourage everybody, not to swallow my words, or any so-called speaker, teacher, like become a person who wants to investigate and learn for yourself, your own opinions, your own views, your own thoughts, your own investigatory energy. Okay, empowerment of your own understanding. Okay, and things being subjective is a part of the convoluted issue. And coming from people who operate from an abuse culture and an abuse standard, or they have some other prevalent underlying issues going on, many of you know that abusers are notorious, whether they are mental abusers, emotional abusers, verbal, financial, spiritual, energetic. They're notorious for projection, but they're also notorious for misconstruing, if anyone has an issue with them, tying things all together as that person not being grateful for anything that they've done for them. Okay? So let's break it down. What is gratitude to you? And why is that gratitude? And what does that look like? What is appreciation? And why is that appreciation to you? What does it look like to you? Have you ever even sat down and actually thought about what it looks like practically? What actions, what behaviors, what decisions, what does that involve, and what's the limitations to all of that? Target, I have to remind you, those of you who are trying to make sure that you display honor and all of those things, especially if you're being accused of something different, there's projection and all of those things. Often that is used to keep you trying harder, to gaslight, to keep your eyes off of other things that's happening. I'm going to give you a plate of chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to give you a plate of your favorite meal. I'm going to give you, some cash. I'm going to give you whatever it is while I simultaneously hurt you. You don't know that I am simultaneously hurting you, but I'm going to do that. And if you ever get wind of it, if you sense it, if there's a negative impact and you mentioned it, then what I'm going to say is you're crazy and you're not grateful for all of the things I'm trying to help you and love you and care for you. That is standard covert narcissism and communal narcissism. And the rest of the world just sees somebody giving to you. The rest of the world just see somebody giving to you. So no, gratitude is having a sense and feeling of thankfulness and honor for something that is serving and beneficial to you and your family. And it is displayed as words such as thank you. It is displayed as in some cases bartering and attempting to, um, in some cases, attempting to reciprocate, in terms of if it's within your means to reciprocate, oh, you showed a kindness. I would like to in turn show a kindness of sorts that I am able to provide from my position. Okay, those are displays of gratitude and appreciation. What gratitude and appreciation is not, NOT, what gratitude and appreciation is not is someone shows some type of a generosity or kindness while simultaneously, whether they're simultaneously doing something to harm you or not, I have to add. Because it's not even just about if somebody is trying to, pull a slick, covert, communal narcissistic abuse tactic on you, even if there is no ill will and intent or abuse. Still, what it is not is the person who was on the receiving end. It does not include them keeping their mouth shut if something is wrong. It does not include them asserting themselves. It does not include them not having any boundaries because they're grateful and to and appreciative to whatever the kindness is. It does not include denial of any truth of theirs. It does not include any self-degrading kind of self-sacrificing in a negative connotation in the name of appreciation and gratitude. It does not include that. That is not a display of humility. That is self-degradation. Humility, true humility, is feeling a sense of awe, a sense of knowing that, there's so much more to life in this world and things beyond your knowing. And again, it's not walking with your shoulders slumped over. It's not allowing people to, to be a doormat. It's not that's not what humility is. That's not what gratitude is. That's not what appreciation is for any so-called kindness or act of generosity. It does not include denial of your feelings, of your emotions, of your reality. It does not include any such thing. If something's not working for you, okay, if you have a boundary, abuse culture looks at boundaries like disrespect, like an attack, like there's a lack. Again, abuse culture looks at it as such. You have a boundary, you shouldn't have any because I was kind to you. You have a boundary, you shouldn't have any because I gave something to you. You have a boundary, you shouldn't have any because I have more money than you. You have a boundary, you shouldn't have any because I've accomplished this and you haven't. You have a boundary, you shouldn't have any because I think I look better than you. You have a boundary and you shouldn't have any because you've made a mistake that I think that I haven't made, even though I might be oblivious and lying and hiding and denying the fact that I possibly made it more than you. You have a boundary, you shouldn't have any because you're here seeking some kind of service. So since you're seeking some kind of a service, you're seeking some kind of a philanthropy, you're seeking some kind of a charity, you shouldn't have a boundary. Let me make it plain. That is not what gratitude and appreciation truly is. That's abuse. Period. You have a boundary, you shouldn't have any. I have a gang and a crew and you don't. You have a boundary, you shouldn't have any. That's abuse culture. That's mental illness disguised as structure, disguised as leadership, disguised as kindness and generosity and philanthropy and charity. Showing humility, showing gratitude, showing appreciation should not come with you needing to sacrifice yourself on the sword, meaning your mind, your body, your soul, your health, your well-being, your mental, your emotional health, your own personal sovereignty and autonomy, whether you are in need of charity or not. And I will go to the grave or evaporate, and however I'm going to, be up out this bitch with that. Should not require that. That is misconstrued. That is discombobulated, distorted images and ideas of what it should look like for somebody displaying gratitude and appreciation. Abuse culture feels like if I'm helping you, then you should stay blind, pretend to be blind, be willing to be blind, or deny anything else, whether that's even something healthy, whether it's you just simply have a different view of opinion, you're standing up for yourself, or whatever it is. Abuse culture says if that person stands in that, then they're ungrateful, then they're using. And see, what I've learned about communal and covert narcissism, their accusations are projections 100% of the time. They're operating with ill will and hidden dishonor with their charity. And so this puts them on kind of an edge of thinking that you too then are operating from some type of insincerity, because that's their base. They're pretending to be charitable and kind to you for their reputation's sake. And they know they have a hidden dishonor. They know what they're doing in the background. They know what they're trying to accomplish. So if you start to display some kind of assertiveness, if you start to not over, like kiss their ass and the moment you're not doing all of that, feeding them, attention or all of those things, then all of a sudden you're insincere, you're inauthentic. If you mention anything that you notice, no matter, listen, that's why I'm saying what it's not and what it is. Because again, if you are a person that's approachable and you're a person that you may not be perfect, but you know how to talk, you know how to do that, you know how to handle yourself. You don't raise your voice at people. You're not screaming at people. You're not cussing at people. You're not calling folks out their name. You're not neck rolling, but you're stern and assertive as an adult has the right to be. If things are done in that way, there shouldn't be any issue. And there shouldn't be any attachment behind that you operating that way, somehow negates any sense of honor, gratitude, or appreciation for anything else. That's mental illness, and that's abuse culture. And just so you all know, if these things are something that's behind the scene, while people, groups, organizations are appearing to be so helpful, I texted them this information, I did this and that, but behind the scene, they're going behind the person already to make, spreading rumors. Listen, when somebody wants you to be forced into a situation, location, place, then they'll go behind you and make sure, as far as it depends on them, that anybody else, anywhere else, and especially in the places and lands in which you want to go, are saying no, while offering you at the same time a helping hand. That is coercive control. That is covert narcissism abuse. That's what it is. Look into it. People want to have access to you. I've talked about this for years. So they can do spells so that they can, know what you're doing, nose around, touch things, still give things to practitioners, because it's not always about something that they can use. Sometimes it's about having something of yours. I've had readings years ago where it was like, you whether you're paying a bill to them or they're asking for something, then turning around using that to do their secret, nefarious dealings pertaining to you. And in a lot of cases, so that you absorb by way of proximity. So listen, what you can do with that, I'm calling judgment. You can call judgment on it via manipulation of your life and circumstances. Forced proximity, forcing your hand. So that they could, and for those of you who are not subscribing or not yet caught up to some other stuff, it's something about proximity. It's something about having access to your intimates, your space, what you're doing. If you got to be there 8 hours plus, they can sit there, throw negative energy, whether that's the evil eye, jealousy, gossip, whatever they're up to. And you and your children are going to feel every bit of it. And then what they're going to say with that is that this is as a result of the mental illness. This is a result of the disability and the autism. Wrong. Because I'm going to tell you again, me and my son was in a weekly. A cheap ass. I'm going to help some of y'all understand. Because sometimes we think it's about how fancy something is or the neighborhood. But what if I told you that's not true altogether? We've been in weeklies and I watch my son's energy. And it's not just about the overstimulation. Somebody's going to say because of their sensory, and that is fact. That's something that you can look into in terms of depending on their sensory nervous system. If it's too much going on, it's too many motherfuckers. It's too much going on. Okay, that gets their nervous system activated as well. It's too much. Niggas is fighting, bitch, loud, bitch, arguing. You know what I'm saying? All of those things heighten. It's a sensitivity for them. Crowds, loud noises, and sure, that is life. But the more we educate ourselves, we come out this abuse culture. We're trying to accommodate fucking handicaps in every other fucking way. People walking around right now with handicap privilege that shouldn't have handicap privilege. We're trying to accommodate. Neurodivergence and autistic should be absolutely no different just because it is neurological, nervous system related. But what if I told you that even with that being the case with my son, even with it including the trauma and the high sensory things, when our asses have our own space, okay, even with that being the fact, still being surrounded, follow me, still being surrounded by people doing bullshit, still being in the midst of crazy niggas and bitches, still being in some cases not the greatest of neighborhoods, still being around a lot of the density. Why is it that I have watched in those cases my son's energy, as I continue to do the things for him, clear up, soar, he stabilizes more, he's more himself. And then when I'm in other environments where there is intentional things happening on some other shit, sometimes in seemingly the nicest places, yet there's a decline, that speaks volumes to someone like me. And when I can even sense more of the shit that's being thrown at me versus when we have that intimate space of our own, or in other environments, like I said, where It's not as up close and personal because you don't have to sit there in the same room as the distorted witch throwing shit at you. Or somebody in the same room of somebody who has nefarious, secret nefarious dealings. Or in some cases, as I said, for some of you, even when it's just a matter of what people are into, whether they're doing something intentionally to you or not, because it's still environment. Whatever people are around, what they're doing, their actions, and that's all attached to us all. That's not a judgment. That's not a better than. That is not a none of that. That is an observation. If I was in a gang and I have a gang affiliation and we run the street and we hoodlums and we have certain shit, then all that is a vibrational resonance that I carry. And guess what? I carry that no matter where I go. And whoever is close enough to me is subject to sense, feel, and know or experience some of that shit. Purr. In these kinds of situations, it's a very fine line, and I talked about it on some of the other videos here, where you want to be authentic, you want to be sincere, and you want to show your gratitude and appreciation. But I'm going to say it once more. You're not the martyr and the sacrifice in the name of making them believe that you are, because in a lot of cases, it's never even about that anyway. It's about you not paying attention to everything the fuck else. Or you overexerting the energy vampiric shit. When you come on a scene, people get good luck. That is because they're absorbing your energy. This is why some of them want you there while pretending, while making it look like they're only doing you a favor. But you come on a scene, suddenly opportunities arise. Why? It's not just because they look and sought. They were looking and seeking before you hit the scene. I'm calling judgment on everything that me and my absorb. Any negativity, any density, any karmic retribution, any toxicity. I'm calling full judgment. Again, I don't care how slick, I don't care what the world don't want to believe, but this is a part of the sovereignty. It's the difference between not knowing something and you're just kind of blindly in and you're trying to figure it out. And then if you or I, if we suffer because of a decision to return somewhere, then you should call judgment on something that you sense and feel and know was somehow manufactured. Because that's what I'm doing. While at the same time, I'm holding sincerity. I'm still holding. Listen, I need y'all to hear this. Because sometimes it's a guilt trip that's put on you. Whether that is conscious, subconscious, literal, implied. You all need to hear this. That's why we're talking about gratitude and appreciation. It does not include denial of all other things. So still make yourself useful. Whatever situation that you're in, you can sovereignly set that intention. Like, I am being true to who I actually am, because this is what I would do in any other circumstance. If I was getting a kindness from anybody in any other circumstance, whether or not they had, I would be trying to extend my usefulness. What can I do? That's sincere. That's truth. And that speaks volumes about who you really are. It speaks volumes while knowing what people's intentions truly are. playing in your face, what's going on behind your back. It speaks volumes about the integrity of you. It speaks volumes about your resonance and vibration, that at the end of the day, I am still receiving, whether it has a stench and a stank attached to it or not, I am still on the receiving end of something that is useful in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And I am going to sincerely attempt to make myself useful in the name of what real gratitude and appreciation actually is. It's like, okay, this is the least I can do. Okay, within means and limits, because if something is starting to deplete you entirely and you're not able to get what you need done, that's where a boundary is going to have to be drawn, whether you say anything about it or not. Because at the end of the day, you're not to be trapped in any situation trying to make sure that you're extending gratitude and appreciation. It speaks volumes to hold that when you know somebody is actually trying to hinder you or your children and trying to dump their shit and get their lives together, get opportunities off of your energy, destiny swapping shit. And as we continue to work on our energy, continue to make the adjustments and changes, and neither you nor I are going to ever do this perfectly. It's just the nature of what all this is, all these factors. Okay, you got people, some of y'all got people trying to poison your ass. I mean, some of us are really dealing with the criminally insane that have not been diagnosed. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be crass. I'm not trying to be pious and pretentious. But when there's some shit going on, it's going that. What else do you call shit? Just because the uniform and the externals look one way and the rest of the world doesn't mean that that's not so. Any energy and vibration of trying to hinder you from who you are and what you do, you're a tarot reader, trying to hinder you from that. That's not right. Anybody who is okay with getting an opportunity and a come up by way of allowing and participating, you know what I'm saying? That's something wrong. Whether that's in the name of cleaning up their rep, whatever, it's wrong. It's off. And it is insidious if these individuals could look at you and your children and smile. It lets you know that whoever you think in there is not. Because I couldn't, neither could you, Target. I couldn't sit up there and look at my niece, my cousin, my nephew, knowing full well my ass is throwing negative sigils at them and they mom and they daddy every day. I couldn't he, ha, ha, and none of that. And that speaks volumes of me. It also speaks volumes of you. It's called integrity. It's called honor. It ain't Christian my ass. I couldn't do that. I couldn't sit there, hey niece, come here, give me a hug. And I was doing some weird sigil. Hey niece, hey nephew. Hey, knowing full well Hey, cousin. Knowing full well I wouldn't even be able to take if I got. Once again, that speaks volumes of who we are. Wouldn't even feel right. I got all this shit. That's because my conscience is intact. That's because my conscience is still intact. I would not feel proud of any job, any business, any opportunity that I got knowing what I know, even if I am a master manipulator and manage to convince the world what I want them to believe. I'll feel like trash. Just cold, a piece of turd dipped in extra turd, a piece of shit, low down, dirty scoundrel, hypocrite, full of shit, fake ass. That's how I would feel. Like I'm walking around my chest out on swole, stunting and fronting, but the truth, I would feel like trash on steroid. Because my black ass couldn't get shit without something being at the expense of somebody. So I would feel like trash. I sure wouldn't be bragging and I sure wouldn't be saying shit. I would feel like trash because I know what I know. I wouldn't be, some people collective. Here's the thing. What I've learned about a lot of folks, and you're probably observing this in life, is I called it false penitence, false attempting to compensate for like trickster shit. Well, I know I caused this and this and that, so I'm going to, on the surface, I'm going to overextend maybe in this way, looking like I'm trying to trick the universe, looking like I'm trying to make something right about something I did wrong, but I'm still going to continue to do the wrong that I originally did. So I haven't really learned shit. I'm simply repackaging my mental illness. I am repackaging my betrayal like nature. I am repackaging my treachery. Folks play on our kindness and our compassion. If you're anything like me, Target, of course you want. Nobody's born wanting just to be an island unto themselves necessarily. That's not really the human nature. Not the way we've come here, not with those dynamics. No, nobody just wakes up. Sure, let me be born into a fucking ass, killer ass motherfucker. Why not? No, nobody. Everybody wants, come on, everybody wants family, camaraderie, share, but it should be love, mutual respect, and all those things. And if that ain't the premise and the foundation, then it's bullshit. It's just not. And people will play on that. Many of us grew up in these types of environments, the crocodile tears, the high level manipulation. Oh, it's just, okay, well, don't be fucked up. Stop all of that then. Stop all that and tell the truth. Shame the devil. Stop that bullshit. Don't sit up there crying to everybody and then be on bullshit. That's a part of the problem in these family dynamics, these community dynamics, these organizations, these groups. It ain't just about giving somebody something. Ike would knock Tina across the head at least a good one time a week and then bring the bitch a ball gown. And then it's supposed to make it better because he gave her something. And that's an extreme overt example, but it's showing the illustration that I'm trying to convey. It's like, what good it was, the lifestyle he provided for her, the gifts he lavished her with, you know. And again, this is just an example ship, but it's like, is that supposed to dissipate, nullify all the toxicity? The ongoing, not just the past, because again, there's going to be people who are trying to imply you're stuck in the past. You're dwelling on the past. You're dwelling in shit from childhood. You're dwelling on something that happened in 2020. And for many of you, you are not. But true healing does not come with denial. That's why I say many people aren't interested in healing. They're just interested in having what they want to have. They're not interested in healing relationships. They're just interested in having access to you, as long as you pretend to just say, hey, to hell with it, let bygones by bygones. No accountability. They talk accountability as it pertains to how it serves them, but no accountability. No ongoing accountability. No accountability for the past, and no accountability for the things in which they're lying through their rotten ass mouth about. That's not healing family issues. Being willing to sacrifice you the truth. It ain't always about to death, because some of you all, it's a little bit of all of it. But being willing to let the world think you're crazy when they know what the truth is, that's abuse. Because your life suffers because of what they are willing and participated in. Now you got some folks who don't even want to look at you or deal with you because of them. And if they're not willing to clean that up, they don't love you. They don't honor you. They don't respect you. And they don't want a real, healthy, healed, mutually reciprocal family relationship with you. They want access. They want access. They want their reputations cleaned up. That's the thing about sociopathic energy. They can't handle people feeling like they wouldn't do nothing. So they may do something just in the name of trying to show like, hey, blah, 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 but not showing the other stuff that came along with it. Some folks, listen, collectively, that's why you got to hear this, because some folks won't even talk to you, or they weird with you. And it's because of this very people that act like they're overextending to help you, because of what they have said and implied covering certain things. It ain't gonna work. Not this time. In fact, it never really has. It cost, but it is not going to cost you all nearly the way it's going to start costing them. And who they're going to have to blame is themselves. Using you and your energy, projecting that you're using them. Classic narcissistic move, especially when it is communal narcissism. Some of y'all want healing. You want things to be, but there are some things that can't be, because if there's an utter oblivion and a denial with continual interference and abuse, there's no foundation there that is suitable and conducive to any true love and any true healing. They don't want it. They don't want to admit who they've become. And they get all these people involved in some of these cases, side-eyeing you. They get their husbands, their wives, their in-laws, their ex-laws, their outlaws, all they can side-eyeing you, and then they wonder why you don't want to be in Vegas. I have to say this because the world needs to hear it, and this needs to confirm the target. I have to. Because many of you all that, you go this no contact and stuff, that once again, all of this meshing it all together, oh, it's just usury, it's just this, and they get what they want and they're gone. Wrong. Classic communal narcissistic move. Wrong. Sometimes is they keep trying over and over again, thinking that is there hope? Could people change? Is this possible? Maybe this go around, maybe this time. They do that over and over again and only find out differently. That's why. Wake up. It ain't about no goddamn usury, getting what they need, getting what they want, and then they disappear, don't want to be bothered. Bullshit. Sometimes is, I can't, it takes all. It takes all. When the hand is forced, the hand is forced. Could Ike argue in his disillusionment, and no disrespect to Mr. Ike, I only use Ike and Tina's story because it's a world famous movie and story, but no disrespect, okay? This is just symbolism. Could Ike argue that because Tina eventually decides to leave and not look back, could he argue and say that she used him to build herself up and then disappear? Used his gift, his talent, because he was talented. He was you all know the story. Couldn't he? Couldn't he feel and say in his delusionment, like, look, soon as you got strong, as soon as you, got a name built off of me, as soon as, what I'm saying, you got you a contract offered by a white boy because he was clowning her because she, something with some guy. As soon as that, then I ain't good enough for you no more. Then you leaving, then you gone. The argument on his side could be like, listen, the abuser feel used. And what if Tina, in the example, what if it broke her heart to leave? What if that was the last thing she ever really wanted? What if she had to mourn something that could never be in a healthy way? What if she simply just ended up having to choose her life over staying with him because staying with him meant continual harm to her life? And when she found a safe way out, I'm just saying, And the thing about when stuff is not physical, when you don't have a black eye and somebody is constantly giving you something, then the world is just ignorant enough to continue to believe the illusion. What if her leaving caused her pain? See, people don't look at stuff like that. Does it negate any love that she ever had? Does it negate any gratitude or appreciation that she ever had in terms of anything good that was between the two of them? Anything that, she benefited from? It does not. It came down to survival. If I stay too long, I'm going to continue to be in harm's way. If I stay too long, my life is going to continually somehow be negatively impacted in some way, shape, form, or fashion. If I don't get an exit strategy, if I don't get a safe way out, I don't know. Doesn't mean she was ungrateful. It doesn't mean she was untitled. It doesn't mean she was unappreciative. And it doesn't mean she was simply using him to build herself up. The accusation that he would have is actual confession. He used her. He had the foundation, but he used her talent and kept her entrapped and under his control. He used her. He used her energy. He used her voice. He used her. He benefited. She didn't just benefit. He benefited. The reason why some of y'all can't find connections now in certain states, cities, communities, locations, and spaces is because of what these types of people do, while then acting like they want to help you in situations, like they're trying to do everything they can, because that's not going to change everything that they've done and everything that they continue to do to make things complex for you. It's not going to matter in these situations. Just know in your heart, be sincere. Show what real gratitude and appreciation looks like, as far as it depends on you and as far as you can within reason, that does not require self-sacrifice and to your detriment. And then operate accordingly. And know, you got to know for yourself. You can hear my son saying, we made a mistake. You might not be able to hear him, but we did. We made a mistake coming to Las Vegas, Nevada. Why is he saying that? It's not just his autism. It's not just his overstimulation. It's not, because listen, we've been in different situations since here, and I can tell you, because I'm in with him all these various situations, he ain't always like that. And in the moment, there is no overstimulation happening. For those of you who would want to argue that, in the moment, there's nothing happening. He's sitting to himself and by himself. Ain't nobody crying. Ain't nobody screaming. There ain't no crowd. So why is he saying that? Ain't no strangers coming up, spitting on him. There's none of that happening. So why the fuck He's sensitive. And the going manipulation of the world is to sweep all of that stuff under the rug of a diagnosis. What affects him affects me. What affects me affects him. Seen or unseen, literal, spiritual, energetic, in every way, shape, form, or fashion. What affects him affects me. What affects me affects him. When there's ill will and intentions and other shit, he's sensitive to it. He may not have the knowledge, the articulation, and all of these things. And this is why folks like him are targeted. And this is why a lot of these sorry sons of bitches are getting away with the shit that they're getting away with, and for how long they have. Oh, it's just, oh, I feel, no, the fuck they do the fuck not. No, the fuck they don't. Control. It's entitlement to knowing, to seeing, to access. And it's going to come with a pretty hefty goddamn price. Bigger than they've already paid. Now, we're living by the decisions we make. They come with victories. And for some of these people, temporary, empty, shallow ones. But back to the gratitude and the appreciation. If you got resources and stuff, I mean, there's ways. I know that's what I've done. I've shared information about the Senior Citizens Helping Hand in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's next to the Goodwill on Maryland Parkway. It is for senior citizens, and you can do once a month grocery shopping there. You get to lots of good stuff. However, if you're in, a bad way, they serve anybody one time only, even if you're not a senior citizen. See, stuff like that, it may not be big money, it may not be a car, it may not be a home, but I tell you, that's $100, $200 of grocery. And sometimes it's stuff like that, because if that's what's at your disposal, if that's what you have access to, and you're not hoarding it, you're not hiding it, you're not trying to make sure nobody else gets credit for it, you say, hey, if y'all, anybody, because shit, anybody, you struggling and you need some extra, somebody that's in between paychecks and, stuff like that. That's what I've done. And anything else, you're helping, findhelp.org. Some people don't know about that. It's not, it ain't perfect, it ain't all that, but you might be able to find some incidentals. If you're struggling, you're in between checks and stuff, you might be able to find sundries or some free stuff or some very low price stuff. Like, sharing that kind of stuff is also showing acts of appreciation and generosity, and gratitude from where you are at. And keep honoring that truth about you, because once again, that's vibrating in the universe. That holds a resonance, no matter what lies motherfuckers down. Anyway, gotta go.